Wow. Way to go. It is Friday, September 20th. It is 11:05 a.m.
Wow.
We're going to pretend that you jammed for 5 minutes and we started perfectly on time. But today
Nice.
we have with us, as always, Ken Haas. And on the very special occasion, Joe Naylor.
Mr. Joe
Take it away,
Naylor.
men.
What's happening out there on the interwebs? We are having a huge day here today, aren't we, Joe?
It's a big one.
Big.
It is a big one. We haven't had a real big one like this in a minute.
No, we got quantity here, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going down.
Yeah, thanks for coming down from the D.
Yeah, I'm happy I made it.
Yeah.
Despite the semi crash on I-75, here I am. Just in time.
There's always something going on that major highway.
There
Russ.
is. It
There
might have
is.
something to do with the legal weed here now. I don't know. Just guessing.
Maybe. Plus, you had to drive through Monroe without stopping, which has got to be difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it is.
Temptation Alley.
Temptation Alley, as it were. Hey, everybody, check it out. I'm going to start. Mind if I start?
Do your
I'm going to
thing.
start. Yo, this is the Gristle St. For those of you who have been going to see Gregory Kochenheimer-Schmidt live over the last few months, you've seen his Lucifer, which is the sister to this one, out on the road with him as we speak. He is rolling through the Netherlands or Holland or Germany or Denmark or I don't know. He's somewhere. He's over there, and he's making it happen. How long we've been working on this, Joe? A minute.
Over a year,
Yeah.
definitely. It's got to be a couple years at this point.
Yeah, because not unlike the process of developing the original Gristle Master and the Gristle 90, which is legendary at this point. We made prototype guitars for Greg before the pickups were completed. So featured in this guitar are the brand new Gristle St set, single width set. They refer to them over at Fishman. And they were actually prototyped in this instrument, which is rad. So we made the guitars first, got some guitars to Greg and to Fishman. They dialed in the pickups, and Greg went ahead and did all what we did with Frank Falbo, I would imagine, where they sit down and tweak these pickups to get the exact things that Greg is looking for. And they are very, very traditional sounding. I think the neck has a little bit more oomph than what you normally find in like a Strat, wouldn't you say? I mean,
Yeah, it's a little deeper sound, almost like that kind of like Stevie Ray sound on the neck.
and I like that it balances so well with the other pickups. Because a lot of times on traditional, 3 single coil guitars, the neck pickup becomes sort of the afterthought, which is why so many people replace them with like DiMarzios and things that they've done over the years.
Yeah.
Heck, I've done that, right? It sounds great, and due to the technology of the Fishman pickups, they're noiseless. So they stack wafers of wire in order to create these pickups. It's a completely different technology. And as a result, these pickups put out about 1/100th of the output of a traditional guitar pickup. So there is a preamp involved in the guitar that brings that signal up to normal pickup output strength. And when they bring that signal up, then they can EQ it to sound like just about anything. And so Greg, of course, has them EQ it to sound like Greg.
Yeah,
and to give Greg the features that he wants.
And the cool thing is that, it's got the preamp in there, so obviously it has a power source. So this has a rechargeable battery, so you don't have to be putting batteries in there like some of the other brands. It has a little USB port on the jack, which is pretty cool. And it charges pretty fast.
It does, and it holds a charge for hours and hours, like
forever.
50 hours or 60 hours or something.
Yeah.
Greg often, when he's sitting in that seat, says he plugs it in while he's changing the strings, and he's never had one die on him.
Yeah.
But if you do let him die, the guitar does die. That's one question that we get very often.
That's why you have to have 2 or 3 of them. Ken.
But we have been marketing these guitars with the Fishmans in them for a while, and we have had shockingly few QC issues or people with battery issues and things. It's been a while. Like at first there was a learning curve like there is on everything.
Yeah,
and then for the last few years, I mean, it's been very, very smooth sailing. I have the other colors of this over there next to you. Why don't you pick them up so we can show them off? This is, of course, Lucifer, which is kind of transparent on the top and opaque on the back, Reverend's Chronic Blue. And it is one of Greg's favorite tone hues. This, on the more traditional sense, is a 3-tone burst. And, of course, locking tuners, Reverend's 6-bolt neck plate, our nut, what do we call that good stuff?
Bonite.
Bonite.
A custom nut material.
We went with a Wilkinson VS 100 trem, which has a little bit more, a little bit wider spacing to accommodate the bridge pickup of this guitar, as opposed to the VS 50s, which we use on the rest of the Reverend stuff, which accommodate the string width of the humbucker.
Yeah, basically the same trem, just slightly wider.
Yes.
So it lines up with these pole pieces a little better.
Yep. And then, of course, the other color is the mighty avocado burst, which, you know, Greg always likes to do something that's a little bit outside the box.
Oh,
And he has fallen in love with this color since we started doing it.
Delicious.
A couple years ago. It is, with the white plastic on this guitar, I think it's great. If you'll notice, all of them for now have the Reverend Roasted Maple necks. And that's because
Satin finish, of course.
Greg likes maple necks.
Yes.
And Greg will tell you himself, if you want rosewood, get your own signature model.
Now, what do we got? What do we got going here, control wise?
That is a really good question. Jeff, do you have a microphone? Because
yeah.
Jeff behind the computer over there has a really, really strong idea of how this goes.
Sure, man. Yeah.
That's what I want Jeff, because Jeff is the one that explained it to me after we were playing around with it in the shop for a little while, because this is something that's very, very specific to Greg control-wise.
Well, my name's not Jeff, it's John. But I've been setting these up, and so you got, your first one's your master volume.
Of course.
Second one is a volume that brings in the neck and bridge pickups. So, and it's backwards. So when it's all the way up, it's off.
Okay, so you're getting, with the second
in your
control,
position right now,
yes,
you're
you're
only
getting a
the bridge
traditional
pickup.
5-way.
Yes.
And then as you back this off, you are rolling in the volume of these two pickups.
Just the, so in that position, yes. You'll be bringing in the neck pickup to that one.
See, so here you have your traditional
Correct.
bridge and neck split.
So then if you go to the next position,
Yes.
now you have all three.
Oh, cool.
And you can blend them in. Middle is just middle.
Yeah, and then you're doing a...
And then reverse the other way.
Yeah,
But when
so
you do it
it's-
the other way, now you're bringing in the bridge into the neck.
So it's like the studio switch that we have in the Pete Andersons, just with the volume.
But blendable, so you
blendable.
get different levels of blending.
Yeah. And then they have the tone is a special tone. I don't remember the specs on that. And there's a boost if you pull it.
And then the Greg boost, of course.
Yeah, mid boost. Oh, that's nice.
That's the boost on and the bridge neck split. That does sound great.
I call that the beef button.
The beef button.
Yeah.
There is a Ken and Greg show episode that went live today that discusses this in depth as well. So.
There you go. So
can
over
find
on
that.
our YouTube channel, Greg and I broke this down, and Greg broke it down for you. That's always embarrassing for me to sit around and play Greg's guitars because Greg picks them up. He's like, check this out. Because he's Greg. But I just love the way it takes gain. It's a great sounding guitar. And you know, Greg mentions in the video, and we mentioned, of course, in the specs on the instrument, the body is slightly larger, but I mean that really boils down to about the thickness of the binding. It fits in a standard case.
Yeah.
It isn't. I think people think that these things are like they're going to be 335 sized or something like
No,
that. And
no, I mean,
that's not the case.
This is the length is traditional length, like a standard S guitar, and actually the width going this way. So I brought it out an 1/8 inch each way, and it just makes it look slightly bigger, and it made it look better with this with the center ridge. It didn't look right before, so as soon as I brought it out, it looked good.
Awesome.
And Greg's a big dude,
Greg's a big dude.
so that's why he likes these just slightly bigger.
Oh,
but if
such
I
a
didn't
monster.
tell you that, you probably wouldn't notice. Same with the earlier the Gristle
Gristle
Masters.
Masters, yeah.
Like if you don't tell somebody, they don't realize it's bigger.
Right, right.
But Greg is the only person who realizes it, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's good.
And that's
Greg
his
happy.
thing. Yeah,
Yes.
100%. Check it out, everybody. I mean, these are available. They're out. So, I I love it. I love it. I mean, you somehow, once again, you managed to take a traditional instrument and put a spin on it and make it yours. And you and Greg do great work together. So this is
Well, thank you.
This is wicked awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody, the Gristle St live today. What's next, Joe? Should we just jump
Where do you
right
want to
in?
go with this?
Let's just jump right in. Oh,
You want to go for the big one?
let's just do it. Let's
right.
just go for it. Oh, my. Check it out, y'all. This is the Reverend Guitars Vernon Reed signature model. That's all I got. But I've done it. What do I hold in my hands here, Joe? This is
That is the shaman.
This is the shaman? I have the
Yes, sir.
shaman.
The shaman.
And then you are holding the talisman.
Talisman. There's 3 models in what we call the Totem series. And yeah, and then this, let's get this one out.
Here it comes.
And this is the 3rd one. And this one's called the Mystery Tramp.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And we went a couple of places that Reverend hasn't gone before with these. Notice that the shaman has gold hardware, the tramp has chrome hardware, and the talisman has black hardware. And that, knowing that that was coming, kind of kicked us in the ass enough to start doing some gold hardware on a few other models, because we did our input jacks, and then eventually we ended up doing the neck plates and the knobs and the things that are custom to Reverend that that we hadn't really addressed yet. Of course, all of these options are available with the Floyd. This is the first official Reverend model with a Floyd Rose. This is a Floyd Rose Pro 1000, which is Vern's Floyd of choice, as it were. I also like it too. It kind of does the thing like the Low Pro from Ibanez, where you don't have the back piece that has the saddle locks running through the back piece. Everything is positioned closer to the body so that you're not it doesn't like stick up very much. I like both things.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm a Floydia. I can deal with both things, but I really love this Pro 1000. I mean, it's a great trim.
No, the profile's nice and low, so your palm doesn't get all up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put the headstocks on the proper way, which I'm thrilled that we were able to do that for a change. And and these are Railhammer pickups. It's Vern's set of pickups, and it's a humbucker and a couple of hum cutters, and that allows him to do sort of the HSS thing, as it were, because he gets into a lot of funk stuff, and when you do that, you don't get that massive volume dropout that you get when you're going from a humbucker to single coil like in a traditional HSS guitar. I mean, that's position 4, and here's your bridge. 2. 4. That's a banger. And then the neck. And then you're hum canceling in all the positions. Neck pickup sounds great. I've said this about the hum cutter rail hammers before, but we basically remove one of the blades and 3 of the poles, but leave both coils intact for the hum canceling thing. But you're taking a smaller slice of that magnetic field that's being generated around the strings to allow you to mimic the tone of a single coil with a humbucker.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a single coil. There's just no noise.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, from when we had Vernon in the studio a couple weeks ago, he seems to really appreciate the balance of the thing. What else, Joe? Ebony board, Carina body.
Yeah, all the good stuff. Ebony, neck, and body. And this, Carina, neck and body. If it was all ebony, it'd be really heavy, wouldn't it?
It would weigh a ton.
Ebony fretboard, of course, the Floyd. Excuse me. And we've got some really nice graphics on here and some nice symbolism, if you will. African Adinkra symbols here, as well as on the pickups. And then on the fretboard, you'll see these American hobo symbols, which is really cool. But they all obviously have specific meanings, and you can find all that on the website.
Yeah.
But for example,
Oh, look, here we go.
look, I got reference here because I can't remember all this stuff.
This is the booklet that comes with the instruments.
Yeah, and it's got a description of all the fret markers. So this one here, this would be jail here. So it's basically a warning. Defend yourself. This is good road, police, bad water, et cetera, et cetera. So these were used in the turn of the century by American hobos traveling across the country. And they would post these symbols in various places by the railroad tracks to let each other know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But Vern is he's a fan of American history as well as African history. So his quote was, "This is sort of Africana meets Americana visually." So that's the symbols, and then of course the body graphics.
The body graphics. Yeah, we're just going to hit this head on. It's very interesting. Jeff, you posted Vern's interview.
Sure did.
About the Vern and Joe sat down here a couple weeks ago together, and they talked about the graphics in detail. So we don't really need to get into that in detail here, but I mean, I do have some comments. From my perspective, watching Joe and Vern create these guitars together is one of the coolest and most interesting processes that I have ever witnessed in my career in the music industry. I think that Reverend made something really, truly special here. We were originally, when they started using AI artwork to get these guitars done, there was a lot of talk amongst the building because it was the hot phrase to hate anybody that uses that stuff or whatever. And what ended up happening was we had a true collaboration between 2 artists. Joe is a graphic artist and a designer who designs all the bodies on all these instruments and designs everything that we do, and we sit down and come up with Joe does the colorways, he does everything. Joe is an artist. Vern is an artist. He not only is he a audio artist and recording artist, obviously, but he is also a visual artist with killer ideas. And when the 2 of them went to collaborate on an instrument together, they put things into some AI software that they were both interested in to see what came out of it. And then they loosely they didn't like take that verbatim and go, here's a guitar. They took some ideas that they got, and then Joe and Vern designed the instruments around those ideas and put those ideas on the guitars in specific places and in a specific way to make the guitars look attractive. And Vern said it best in the interview that we did. Like, when Vern is being a recording artist, he uses all the tools that are available to him to go and record. And whether those tools come from amp modelers like Fractal and digital processors, or old vintage tube amps, or whatever it is, whatever the tool that he can use to create his art, he's going to do it. And when it came to doing these, he had exactly the same attitude. I think it's fantastic. And I mean, haters going to hate, but this is some cool shit. I'm on board. Joe?
No, I mean, it's like you said, it was an artistic collaboration. People, who don't like AI or whatever, they may assume that we just plug something in and it would spit out a guitar body. I wish it was that easy. I mean, I went through 260 images
Yeah.
to put these three guitars together.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and this one here is probably an amalgamation of, this is probably 12 different images that I manipulated, resized, recolored. Some of this stuff I added by hand, and I was constantly bouncing it back and forth with Vern.
Yeah.
You saw the emails.
Oh, yeah.
So it's an artistic effort. The AI part of it was basically a tool that saved us time.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It also gave us more options too. So it allowed our imagination to run wilder, really. But at the end of the day, it's all subjective to decisions made by two designers.
Yeah. Of course.
So that's my take on it, and I'm sticking with it, Ken.
I got to tell you what an honor it was to do all of this. I mean, Vern, I said this all the time with so many of the artists that we work with, but this is another one that rings true. I mean, if you would have told 19-year-old me, 20-year-old me, that I would be sitting here with him talking about Vernon Reed, and that I've sat here with him and talked about Reeves Gabrels, and that Reeves Gabrels is a friend of mine, and Mike Watt, and like some of the creative people that we've been able to collaborate with on things, I would have never believed you. And hysterically, there's more. We're working on something with another one of my heroes right now, which just completely blows me away. So this has really been a really fun project, and it took some time. There were 3 rounds of prototypes. There were some ideas that fell a little bit flat. Pickup ideas went back and forth numerous times before we really dialed in what he was looking for. Because, here's a guy that needs to be able to play Glamour Boys and Cult Personality on the same guitar.
Now, the pickup part was a lot of work.
It was.
He's got to go from the heaviest, rock sound to like a clean funk thing. Because he comes from both worlds, and he does it in the same song.
Yeah.
And going back to what we were saying earlier, he doesn't want a big volume drop off when he goes from humbucker to neck or middle.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up with this configuration here. And interestingly enough, this bridge pickup is actually a hyper vintage, based on the hyper vintage model, which is slightly hotter than vintage. It's not super hot.
Yeah.
And these two are kind of sound like a cross between a Strat and a P90 maybe. So you put those two together, and that's how you maintain that volume. You don't use a super hot bridge pickup. But yeah, that took a little bit to get done, and so we ended up with a very versatile guitar.
I was surprised that it ended up being a set neck when all was said and done, which is cool. He played vintage hammers for a lot of the sort of meat of their career, the first few records. And that, of course, Hamer's no longer.
That's what he was known for, was the bolt-on.
Yeah, it was the bolt-on Hamer.
Long scale.
Yeah.
I was surprised, too. He said that right up front. I want to do a set neck, and I want it to be the 24 3/4 scale. He just felt that, the shorter scale is softer and easier to play.
Yeah.
So he was headed in that direction. So, but that worked out nice. You still get a nice spank to it, though, even though it's
absolutely.
a shorter scale, because of this, the ebony with the rail hammers and this big chunk of metal here. You get, the harmonics just pop off this thing.
Yeah, you heard me do the whole. It really does. can hear the overtones when you stop.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost my mind there. For
You're
a
having
second.
fun, son. The other unusual thing is
Oh, I've been
the
having
neck.
fun. Yeah,
V-neck.
yeah. That's also very for Reverend for us.
First time,
We
yeah.
haven't really approached it in that manner. So it does have a soft V.
Soft V, yes. And I've never been a V-neck guy. And when I was getting the prototypes on this, I was like, I don't know, man, V-neck. And then once you start playing it, it's so comfortable. It's fast and just so easy to get around. I was shocked, actually. Because I associated the V-neck thing with, the blues guys and stuff. But this thing really rips. And it's not like a giant V-neck like you see on an old Harmony acoustic or something.
Yeah, no.
No, it's very subtle. Yeah,
It's subtle.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and it works. I think it works for me with my giant hands.
Yeah.
I like it too.
no, I like it
it's
too.
great.
And I'm used to slim necks, and I have no problem with this. So yeah,
Yeah, there you have it. Like I said, the whole. Just what a pleasure it was doing it. So there's a couple things to mention too. The guitar comes with this little booklet that explains all the artwork and things that are going on in it. And then, per Vern's request, you go ahead and show
grab
them
that
this
one.
stuff. Yeah, I got this one right.
can we get that
Yeah,
close up?
yeah. The first 100 of these have shipped with these handmade glass eyes
Yes.
from. Do you remember the artist's name? It's in the
I think
paperwork.
it's just glass eyes.
Yeah,
.com.
but she's.
.com.
I read her bio. She's an interesting. It's an interesting
Okay.
thing.
Well, we'll plug her up on
Oh yeah, for
social
sure.
media and whatnot.
Oh yeah, 100%. But Vern has been sticking eyeballs on his guitars for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And so per his suggestion, he loves these. And per his suggestion, the first 100 of these guitars are shipping with the eyeballs.
Vern's Mystic Eyeballs.
And we we got a specific eyeball for each guitar.
Yeah.
So I believe this is the chicken eye. If
I
I'm
know
not-
that one's the Hen Harrier.
Okay.
eye. This one is a yellow dragon, and this one is a blue human eye.
Ooh.
Sure is.
Vern's watching you.
Yeah, yes. And hopefully Vern's watching us. Hey, Vern, how you doing, bud? The Living Colors on tour. I believe they're in North Dakota, Fargo or Minnow or something. Those guys have been working their asses off. I've seen them 3 times in the last year.
What a show, though.
What a show.
I was blown away. That's the first time I
it
saw him
is-
was last year here in Detroit, and wow.
I saw them in Ann Arbor when they were touring for Times Up at the Hill, and they are every bit as good now as they were then. Corey's vocals.
Mr. Glover
Mr.
is
Glover.
going to church, man.
Man, his vocals are unbelievable.
Yeah,
He's
unbelievable.
got it. It's unreal.
Yeah.
And
The pace of the show and the variety
Yeah.
is just. And then in Detroit, they did kick out the jams by the MC5.
they've been doing that. They did that in Fort Wayne too. It was kick ass.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And in Doug,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Go see them if you can.
Yeah,
It's
go
something.
see him. It's great. And he hasn't been keeping this a secret. He's got all 3 of these models, and he's been rotating them.
pumped.
Yeah, he's pumped. It's been awesome. So then, because we could, you got to know this was my suggestion. Once we started doing business with Floyd Rose, I had to put one on a production guitar. So this, we would like to introduce the RA series for this year. Last year we did the Wine Reds, and now this year we're doing our beautiful Coffee Burst. And it is Coffee Burst, everybody, just so you're aware. There's
See if I can do this.
there's been some idea that that it's Tobacco Burst floating around out there. These are Coffee Burst, y'all. Coffee Burst Flame Maple. And everybody's
better.
got a slightly different pickup configuration. The Kingbolt has some hyper vintage. The Sensei, which you're holding, has chisels in it. The Charger version has a hyper vintage in the bridge and an Nuevo 90 in the neck. And then the mighty Roundhouse has hyper vintage guitars. All of these guitars feature the beautiful coffee burst flame maple and ebony fingerboards, and then they have the gold hardware. Thank you, Vern, for introducing gold hardware into the
Remember when
Reverend
we
line.
said we'd never do gold?
Remember when we said that? And know how
Wasn't that
I
long
always
ago.
say, I always say never say never.
And we
'Cause you
also
never know.
said we'd never do guitars without pick guards.
We did.
Things
well,
change. We've evolved, people.
You said that
For you.
actually,
Well, I said all that.
and you also said we'd never do a guitar with a Floyd. Almost 25 years ago now, Jesse Hopkins made a Commando GT with a scalloped fingerboard and a Floyd Rose. And I remember the whole time that guitar was going around the shop, you were throwing up in your mouth a little bit. I remember.
I think I fired him because of that.
I think you might have.
No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
I
Just
ended
kidding,
up with.
Jesse.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but I ended up with that guitar. It's here
Really?
in the building. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
And so I talked Joe into putting the Floyd on the Kingbolt, and it works. It does the Floyd thing. There is something about the initial attack with the Floyd Rose that is different. You
Well,
know?
all that metal just brings out the upper harmonics and sustain too, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different animal as soon as you put that on there.
This doesn't change my feeling about the Wilkinsons in any way, shape, or form. Those Wilkinson trems, the VS 100 like that's on the Gristle, and the VS 50s that we use on everything, those things stay in. You set up a guitar right to begin with, and they stay in tune. So as long as with the locking tuners and the nut slots being filed properly and stuff, we don't have tuning stability issues with our guitars. But the Floyd does add a tonal thing to a guitar that is a little bit interesting, and I personally like the feel of them under my palms. You guys, some of you guys know I collect certain '80s guitars that are set up like this, and I like that shit. I learned how to play on it, and you know, I think as we grow older, everybody has an affinity for the things that they learned how to play on. The reaction to this guitar and the Vern guitar have been overwhelmingly positive. Everybody that sees it gets really excited about
Well,
it. So.
there's a thing going on now with the Floyds. The Floyds are clearly making a comeback, but what you're seeing more now is a Floyd on a what word can I use? A more mature looking guitar, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but okay, you're seeing Floyds on
Less pointy.
less pointy and less neon, maybe.
Sure.
And even on some like vintage looking. I saw Floyd on I think a Jazzmaster or something the other day. But anyhow, so that's a thing now. So you got guys who are used to a Floyd, but they don't necessarily want to play a guitar that makes them look like they're 16 years old. Okay, 80s is over,
Not for Ken.
Not for me.
except for Ken. Yeah, but keep the spandex at home, buddy.
Yeah, I think I better. Yeah, I'm keeping this one just so you guys know. This one's already been going out to shows with me. I love it. I'm in love, Joe. I'm in love. And
Why don't you marry it then?
No. I mean, it could never replace Little Gal,
Yeah, that's right.
but I am in love. I'm gonna have to take it home and show it to Lenny Lou. Hey everybody, we got questions, we got comments.
Yeah,
I ain't
man.
afraid.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
go. We got Joe Naylor here for crying out loud, man. I only get him down here about twice a year this early in the morning. So let's hit Joe with these design questions and what it's like to work with artists like Greg and Vern. Let's go.
Well, first of all, Jesse did chime in with the direct quote of "Don't tell anybody you built that here." So thought we'd get that out of the way.
Yeah, there you go.
So some questions. So Scott wants to know if those Vern pickups are going to be available separately and where they fall in the Railhammer lineup in comparison to the regular Railhammer lineup. I mean, we touched on it a bit, but
Yeah, that is something that is still in development. The artwork is pretty specific to the guitars, and so we haven't really made a decision as to whether or not we're going to offer the pickups with the artwork separately yet. I think we were kind of letting the launch of the guitar do a little market research for us and see what the demand
Yeah,
was.
we
on
want to
those
see the
things.
demand was like.
And if the demand is high, then that is something that for sure we'll do. Like Joe said, the bridge pickup is very similar to the Hyper Vintage, and then the neck and the middle are are basically clean
Clean
cuts.
cuts. It basically is a hyper vintage and clean cut, clean cut. The difference is the way the artwork is applied. Like the laser etching is literally done over the pole pieces on these, which is another cool thing.
Yeah.
They have pole pieces sticking through the cover. You can't see them on this video, obviously, but they are there, and the graphics are literally lasered right on top of the pole pieces.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to come in close enough on
There's
this. But
pictures on the
if you
internet.
If you check out the Reverend website, you can see where all of that is the case. It is really cool. Yeah, and so like Joe said, I mean, like I said, if there's some demand for that,
It could look cool on just a regular guitar too.
I think so too. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we got our first customer then, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So Eric wants to know how the graphics are applied on that model.
Ooh, good question.
How it's done with the decal process. So they'll have a body size decal, which is applied to the base coat, which I assume is black, and then that's cleared over the top.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jake wants to know in regards to the pickups, if it's trial and error with pickups, or do you have an idea and then you tweak it from there?
It's a combination of both. I mean, I go off what the artist tells me, and then I apply that to what, I have boxes and boxes of prototypes in my basement. I probably have 400 prototypes sitting on my shelves. So stuff that maybe we didn't use for whatever reason, I can reference any of these and just pull one out and try it out or send it to the artist, and they could be like, no, I want more gain, I want less gain, different EQ or whatever. Fortunately, in this case, like I said earlier, he was happy with the hyper vintage clean cut scenario. But it is a lot of trial and error. I do all the designing. The final analysis is always done by ear. I don't do it with electronic scopes or anything like that.
Hey, Joe has this unique ability to know, like with the different magnets and different strengths of magnets and different wire and different thicknesses of wire and the number of windings and all of that. I mean, he can really tweak a pickup, and I've seen you do really, really interesting things with that over the years. And knowing what exactly is going to change the sound into what the artist is looking for is that's the thing, that's why you're a designer. I mean, that's why we need you here. I mean, that's the meat of it, I don't always. I see artists say the most ridiculous things to you about tone that they're looking for, and it's because of that reference library that you have that you're able to just go, yeah, I know, I got that.
Well, a lot of high level artists don't speak in the same terms that we do per se. Like, they don't say, hey, I need more treble and maybe more upper mid range. It's Corgan, for example. I need the Sabbath note.
Yeah.
I know what he meant, but most people probably wouldn't.
Well, you know him well enough to
Yeah.
grasp onto that too.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
What else, Jeff? What you got?
Well, I'll take this one for Gabe. He loves the Coffee Burst, wants to know when they're available, and they're available now, Gabe. So
Yeah, they're going. Baby.
find your local dealer, hit them up, make them bring it in, do whatever you got to do. So yeah, I feel really good about taking that question.
Nice.
I think I answered it pretty well.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Nicely
Well done, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm working on it, guys. So switching lanes here a little bit. Eric says, thanks for bringing the Sentinel back. Will we see any other short or perhaps medium scale basses in the near future? I need a Dub King layout and a solid body.
Well, let's see. Short scale's kind of hot right now, don't you?
It is.
Yeah. So why wouldn't we jump in there?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why the Sentinel came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you have an idea for a bolt-on too, don't you?
Yeah.
Swimming around
Yeah.
in
We're
there.
working on some stuff.
We're working on some
some
Oh,
stuff.
we have ideas.
Tons of them. The Brown Bunny 77, cute, wants to know, any chance of a Mulberry Mist Air Sonic in the future? A burst or a solid in that color would look killer.
It would. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah.
That would look nice. Mulberry Mist Burst. There's something we haven't done.
That could be interesting.
We haven't done that, have we?
Get Tim on that.
Any burst on the Air Sonic just destroys. I like the black one. Don't get me wrong. The black one's cool. But boy, when you put a burst on that body, it just looks great, which is why we're offering it in red burst Alpine Burst.
Yeah, something about the
Periwinkle Burst.
F-holes look good on that one with the burrs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mellon, switching lanes here again, wants to know what you think of that Rob Chapman Sensei review.
Oh my God, that was great. I appreciate that, Rob. That was it was fun to wake up to that this morning in my inbox. That was really fun. Have you seen this, Joe?
No, was it a good review?
Yeah.
Kind of?
So I should probably take a look at it.
It was a rather sarcastic review.
Okay.
It fell in line with the beef that Rob and I have. Rob knows where he stands.
Deep beef there. There's deep beef.
There's deep beef
There's
between
beef?
me and Chapman. There's beef.
All right.
There's beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can
I
tell.
would beef with him, but that's
palpable.
that's what you're for.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Against the
No,
muscle.
it's a great review. He did a nice job, and I really appreciate him. Thanks, Rob.
Nice fella.
You got a problem with my shirts, though. He also has some sort of problem with my beard. It's a good thing he didn't mention the hats, or else hands up, bud.
There's beef
All right.
rules, man.
I know. There's beef rules. You got to draw the line somewhere.
Hats are off limits.
Yeah. Everything like that. So Gabe also just, chiming back in. He wants to go on record as saying a big thank you to both of you guys for developing instruments that stand the touring and extreme weather tests. Really amazing craftsmanship. So
If that's
kudos,
the Gabe I'm
fellas.
thinking of, he does a lot of touring in Central and South America. And so he is exposing those guitars to some extreme humidity and temperature fluctuations. And
Oh, the
things that make-
Gabe Trayer.
I think so. It's probably Gabe.
Yeah.
He's like tuning in. Hey, Gabe.
Could be him. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Chris says, what's up with the Wattplower Mark III?
Oh, yeah. If you go to the video I did here a few weeks ago, I talked about it quite a bit when I had Andy from Sponge in the studio with me. I played a little bit. No, I didn't. I did that with Greg. Oh, is that video live yet?
No, Ken. Who do you think I am, man?
I
I'm
think
merely
you're
one man.
Superman, dude. I give
Oh,
you,
wow,
I give
thank
you
you.
more credit than you deserve, apparently.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Man, we're live.
What? We're talking
We're live
beef
here.
Yeah, we're talking beef here.
Yeah, that's tough.
So Mike wanted to try his model with a maple board. That's what it boils down to. And the yellow is the original color that we launched the Wattplower base in. And I remember Mike sent Joe his watch.
His watch, yeah.
And it was like this waterproof watch that he wears when he goes kayaking and that he loves, and he loved the color of it. He wanted the base to be the color of his watch, so we got his watch and matched it. And then when we developed the 3 pickup version of his instrument, or the triple blade and humbucker version of the instrument, the Mark II, the yellow didn't make the transition for a minute. And it was because the black hardware, he really wanted to try white on it. And then we struggled with getting the knobs and all of everything correct in the white. And then all of those things just came together. And so the Wattplower Mark II moved over to the satin Watt yellow with the white plastic and a maple board.
The maple board and the perloid.
Yes. And
Inlays.
And perloid inlays. Still got the lumen lay on the side markers, so
Glow
you
in
can
the
see
dark.
it. See it. Yeah, the glow in the dark lumen lay side dots, so you can see it good on a dark stage, and that's per watt request. And then another thing that happened during all of this transition is the watt. What do you call it, Joe? The humbucker.
The thump bucker.
The
Thumpbucker.
Yeah, the thumpbucker. So for a long time, we were using a pit bull in the neck position of
From,
the Wattplower.
Rio
from
Grande.
Rio Grande, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dave Wintz passed away a few years ago. He was a good friend of both Joe and I.
R.I.P. Dave.
And we had a moment where Rio Grande was nobody was answering the phone when I was sending him POs, which put Joe and I in a pickle. And so Joe decided to address that neck pickup and created something with Mike in mind as opposed to like a stock thing. And so Joe played around with some of Mike's basses, and Mike and Joe went back and forth on the tone of the pickup like we were talking about before. And we've come up with the Thumpbucker pickup, and it's the same pickup in the root beer sparkle and in the yellow. Just in the yellow, it's got a nickel cover,
Yes.
and there you go, rock and roll. Wattplower.
Yeah, but just to bring it back up. He asked about the Mark III, not the Mark II. What do you think about that?
Well, what I'm seeing on I answered about the new Mark II because I'm seeing on the inner Googles that people are calling the yellow Mark II a Mark III.
I didn't know there was a Mark III.
And it is not. There's not a Mark III. Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
I mean,
Mark.
I get it now.
I kind of know what the Mark III is going to be, from some discussions that I've had with the man, but we haven't even broached a prototype or anything just yet.
So he's talking about the yellow one with the maple board.
I think that's what he's talking. I think that's what he's referring to.
Hard to say. Maybe he'll chime back in and let us know.
Yeah, maybe he will.
Who knows?
Or I put him to sleep. It's hard to say.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is live, Ken.
Hey, rock and roll.
So Mark wants to know if there's any new color plans for the Matt West SIG. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Struck a chord. Here we go.
Well, yeah.
Well, we're talking to Matt.
No, I mean it's new color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a new color. There you go.
New color, just in
Next.
the whole spectrum of colors in the world. It's just a new color.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever seen it before.
Yeah. Let's just say that model, I'll tell you what, that model is fundamentally changing. And if you like the version that's out now and you find one in retail, snap it up. Because we have something. Might be a minute, but that model is changing.
Yeah.
We're cooking.
I said it here. Yeah. We're in the kitchen. We're in the kitchen with that right now.
Yeah, we got something pretty interesting coming with him, and that's all I'm going to say.
There you go. There you go.
Well, you
else?
guys want to wrap it up, man?
Yeah, I want to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody that came out to see us at Ohio is for Lovers a couple weeks ago and came out to see me at the Supernova International Ska Festival last weekend. I had a good time taking guitars on the road and talking directly to fans of the bands that are using our stuff. That Ohio is for Lovers with Hawthorne Heights and Hot Mulligan and Wonder Years and the Saturdays at your place. And it was Devil Wears Prada. It was wicked awesome. Had a really, really good time out there. So thanks to everybody who supports us doing that. What do we have coming up? That's a great question. I'm playing tonight at the Village 88 with the Polka Floyd Show, and we're doing a big Oktoberfest this Sunday here in Toledo. And then next week, I'm afraid I will not be here. I will be in St. Charles, Missouri, doing an Oktoberfest.
Beautiful out there this time of year.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Actually, it's gorgeous. The St. Charles Oktoberfest is right on the river, and it's stunning. So if you're in that area, come down to Oktoberfest and say hi to me. We're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. See you out there. And I will be back in this chair in 2 weeks to answer more of your questions. Y'all take care. Thanks for tuning in. What was that? Maybe I can play that lick better than I did. Let's start that middle pickup.
Very Verny. So Verny. Thanks, everybody. I had a great time.